started Eve here, and I was bringing this live stream because I keep on animals. So of course, the most questions that I get are usually from the ferrets that I have gotten. Just I think probably female that likes to run around a lot, as I can tell, as she keeps on she keeps on trying to escape my arms and all of that. She is a champagne, which means that she has like a silverish kind of color to her fur. Would you stop squirming? She's a bit really active right now. Oh no, Evie! Yep, she does that sometimes too. So this one is kind of more sleepy. He likes to lounge around a lot. He is a chocolate color ferret, so he's a pretty good one. As you can tell, that he's a lot more bigger than Evie. They actually are both full grown. They are the same age as well. They're both 1.5 years old. Oh no, Evie! No. Get back down. But most of the time, they're not really that hard to take care of. It's just that every once a month with their entire playpen, you have to vacuum the floor and their cage, which I done last night, and it actually only took me about 5 hours, so usually it's not really that long, and they're not really that hard to take care of, but they are very social animals, so you always want to make sure that if, like I said, if let's say if I wanted to go and stay the night with a friend, I would have to at least let them out and play with them just before I leave. And then the day that I come back, which is usually only one night, when I do come back, I'll let them... We're disconnected for a second. But as I was saying, oh no. If you're not home for more than one day, then ferrets are usually not really the type of pet you want to get, because they'll end up getting depressed, and usually when they do that, they'll get very sick, and that's no good for them. So obviously, I've shown you my 2 ferrets. So the next thing that... Oh my goodness, this lighting. The lighting in my room is never good. Okay, there we go. Maybe that's a little better. So the next... I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to flip the camera. Be better now that I got it fixed. Trying to be active, as always. She thinks she's going to be able to get out of the cage for a little bit, but not yet. Dodger's back there. He's just napping. I have 3 levels to their cage, so that's their entire cage entirely. So it's up to past my shoulders in how tall it is, and I'm 5'1", or somewhere around there. So it's not too tall, not too terribly tall, but it's big enough for them to be able to run around and not get bored inside their cage. On the top level, I have the hammock that I got from the rescue with them, and I had to put it around the bars so that it can stay up. I have right here a towel for them to kind of mess around with. Evie right here, she kind of likes to try to get underneath the towel or try to make a little den with it. So that's usually what she likes to do. And then back here, I have a cushion. This cushion actually used to be for one of the cat beds, but the cats would not sleep in the cat beds that we got for them, so I just took the ow, she bit me. Evie. Yeah, she'll do that sometimes. She'll nibble me. It's not too terribly bad. I do have this cushion right here for the cats. Well, for the ferrets now, and the cats just didn't like it, so I just took it out of the bed entirely, and then I gave it to them. And they actually do like it. Sometimes they'll scratch at it to try to make it more comfortable for them. They haven't made a hole into it yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I do keep their nails clipped every 2 weeks, so usually when they scratch at things, it doesn't really cause too much damage. So this is kind of like a sleeping level for them. And down here on the second level, it's kind of less spacey. I mean, well, level-wise, because you have the top level up here, and then you have the level for the second level right here. So it looks like Evie wants attention of the camera. So right here, as you can tell, that it's kind of bolted shut, or not bolted shut, but it's kind of nailed to the cage, so they can't just push it or try to twist it or anything. So I do have that. Oh, seems needs to be a little bit, it needs to be fixed a little bit. But this is the water bowl that I have for them. I also have their food bowl back here, which I'll get into what kind of food I give to them in a second. But this is the thing that I have right here. So far they haven't been able to push the bowl or anything. What Evie likes to do though, she likes to get into the food bowl and she'll dump all of the food out of the bowl. Yes, I'm talking about you and what you like to do to that poor food bowl. And right here I have another towel that I have folded up and to cover up the level so that it's easier for them to walk on and stuff. And back there I have like a smaller towel. People think that most of the time people think that you're supposed to use bedding for them, when actually, no, that is actually a really bad thing for you to do. You're supposed to be using like towels or blankets and cloths like that. The pine bedding and stuff like that, which I got at first because I did believe that you were supposed to use bedding for them at first, but however, you actually use towels and blankets. So I did take all of the bedding out that I had in here and kind of replaced it with the towels and stuff once I figured out that they aren't supposed to have bedding. Usually the reason why the bedding is bad for them is because they kind of like, there's something inside of it that makes them get sick and stuff like that. So it's just overall really bad for them. And now I have the bottom level, which has a lot to it. As you can see back here, it kind of has like a green tunnel that they can go up onto this little ledge right here that goes up to this slide that allows them to go up to the food level with water. And the ramp back there is what allows them to go up to the most top level. But on the bottom level, I have like this pirate ship hammock, which is really hard to get in and out of the cage because of you have to be just right on where to put these things at so that it's leveled for them. It's kind of crooked right now. I'll probably have to fix it later. There's Evie again. She wants that attention. Down here, I have like a blanket folded up just for this one side right here. And then right next to it, I have their litter box. We're going to try to get a smaller one because obviously this one is too big for their cage. Not only that, but they don't use this entire space of the litter box. They only go in the corners, as you can see kind of right there. You can see that they only go in the corner. Most of the time, they go in that corner. But they do go in the other corners as well, which are back behind the cage. They never go in this corner right here, which I'm guessing is because they have the blanket right here, and sometimes they'll like to get underneath it or make like a small little cavern with the blanket and fold it up. But we are trying to find a smaller litter box for their cage. Whenever I have to clean their cage once a month, I have to like turn it sideways. I can't really show you, but there's a pinch thing right here, and I unpinch it and then I lift it up, which this side and the back side you only have to lift up. You don't have to use the pinchers that the side has. and I have to take the litter box out that way. I can't just open this and take it out because it's too big. Yeah, you like the attention you're getting, Evie, huh? Yeah. She's kind of a curious child. She likes to get a lot of the attention most of the time. Oh, no, I can't let you out yet. Not right now. I will let you out later. So that's kind of their cage, and I have it I need to push it back a little bit. Yeah, I do put it into the far corner of my bedroom, because usually that's where the most space was for their cage. They recommend that you get cages that are more wide than they are tall, which is what I kind of wish I would have done, because that is kind of a lot more better for them. But this cage that I have right now, it actually does work, and that's probably the cage that I'm always going to keep, so it's not too much of a problem, not too terribly. I do live in Indiana, but in some states in the United States, ferrets are actually banned. So, like, I can't think of one on the top of my head, but I do know that there are some out there that are actually have ferrets banned. So luckily in this state they aren't. And the rescue that I got them from is from Indianapolis, and I live in Frankfort. So it took about like I say an hour and a half just to get there to get them, and then another hour and a half to get home. So yeah, that is their cage. So I would show you the playpen. However, as you can tell, I have the panels right here all folded up. The reason why their playpen, which is usually right here in the middle of the room, because it's fairly large, and this is where the most space is in the room for it. But unfortunately, at the moment, I'm currently cleaning up the blankets and the stuff that they had in there, because I wasn't able to do it last night, because I kind of chose to do it really late at night, which I shouldn't have done. I should have thought better and did it more early. But typically this is usually pretty wide, as if you saw in other videos that I had, you usually know what it looks like. So, you know, it's usually right here. And I only put them in the playpen usually for an hour just before I let them out to run around. Or when they've been in the cage for a while, but I still need to go and do things, I'll put them in the playpen. And while I'm like cooking in the kitchen and stuff, I can always just open my bedroom door, look at the playpen, and make sure that they're okay. So usually that's what I have the playpen for. Over here, I have two things from the playpen that I just have off to the side right now that can't be cleaned. Like this litter box right here. We're planning to get another litter box that's kind of similar to this size, or maybe smaller, for their playpen. This is kind of just a temporary thing, and as you can tell, it's kind of just like a box and stuff. But it's definitely just a temporary thing. And then right here I have like this cube that has a bunch of balls in it that they can get into from the sides, the two sides that are open to them. Although, weirdly enough, they don't like going through the tunnel entrance. What they'll do is that they'll climb up the sides over the corner and then fall in, which I don't understand why they do that, but it's kind of funny to watch sometimes. And over here, I do have like a plastic bag that I put in their playpen sometimes, and whenever I let them outside the playpen, I'll take the plastic bag and I'll put it out on the floor for them to play with. As you can tell, this paper bag has seen better days. It's been shredded apart. And usually when the plastic bags get this bad, I'll just take the one that they have been playing with and I'll replace it with a new one, which I'm probably going to do once I get their playpen set back up. So usually when I let them out for an hour or two every day, I have to go around and unplug these things. I have 2 scent things. And then I have lights over my room, like there's a night light underneath the scent air freshener. There's another one. I have one over there, and then I have one right there as well. Now the reason why I have all of these night lights in my room is because I have like night terrors. Not exactly night terrors, but like if it's really late at night and I'm trying to go to bed, if it's in a pitch black room, for some reason I kind of have like hallucinations and stuff. Like just really weird things, and it makes it harder for me to sleep. So I have to have like night lights in my room, so that way, like, I don't need this many, I just need one, but I just do have this many around the room. So if I start experiencing like hallucinations or something, I can just look at the night light and usually they'll just go away and I don't have much trouble, which is kind of why I have them around my room. I never went to a doctor about that before. It's just something that I've like found a solution for myself, basically. So that's what I have. So I have to go around and take all of those out, and then like anything on the floor, like my shoes right there, I'd have to put them either on my bed or my couch where they can't get up to, so that way they don't mess with it or tear it up. And over here, we have these 2 things that I've cleaned the towel in here last night. It's kind of just an old Halloween bucket that I used to have. I cut off the string that I had on there where these 2 little holes are at, and they'll get inside of it and mess around in there. And then I have this big tunnel right here. Once again, this used to belong to the cats, but they didn't like the crinkling noise that it made. So instead I give it to the ferrets, and they actually love it. Like, they love the fact that it makes the crinkle noise, and they'll jump inside the middle hole right here and stuff. Another thing, when I let them out, as you can probably see, this thing, which some people were actually asking me about when they saw my videos and kind of like contacted me on Codif or Wattpad, they asked what this thing is, and when we got the ferrets, we knew that the electrical wires that I have in my room were going to be a problem, because it's for the TV that I have up there, and then the TV that I use for the Wii and stuff. So we had to figure out a solution about it, and of course, like, we couldn't just take the wires out of the room, because I do use these 2 TVs and stuff. So we had to think of a different solution. So we got basically a tote and a bunch of duct tape. And over here we cut out like an opening for the wires, although like I had to move it to plug in more wires in it, so now it's kind of like crooked, but it's still covered pretty well, and it still kind of keeps the ferrets out. They can't get into it at all. They can't get to the wires. But we cut out these openings, and we have another one, and we have the outlet part completely covered with all the wires, and the wires trail up and they'll like go out where they need to. And then we have this wire right here, which is the wire that goes to the TV to activate it and stuff, which we couldn't put in a tote because it's the type of wire that comes up from the bottom of the floor. So we had to get like a pipe thing that they can't get into. Like, it is really thick, so they can't bite through that or anything. And obviously, as you can tell, we used a lot of duct tape. And up here, like, as you can tell, I put the extension cord that I had up here for the Wii up here, or from any other gaming system. And you can obviously see this. They actually cannot get up there. They've tried it before, but they have like a really hard time trying to crawl up there and stuff. And usually when I let them out, I'm always watching them to make sure that, like, if they do happen to like be able to climb on my bed or up there, then I can always get them down really quickly. And like back here, which is really hard to see, I have the rest of the wires tucked behind the TV to where they can't get them. And I have this tray right here for whenever I eat in my room and stuff. They can't climb up on the tray because it's only like a small little bar, but then it has a lot of space where they can't really climb. And they haven't been able to use it to climb up on my bed yet at all. So, in fact, they haven't been able to get on the top of my bed yet at all. So, hopefully that never happens. But that's usually what I do when I let them out. And I have this bed for when I let them out. Again, the cats don't like it, so I gave it to the ferrets, and the ferrets loved it. So I have that. And I usually just kind of put it right here, right underneath the couch, because they'll go underneath my couch. And sometimes they'll just like lay there, or they're like grab their toys and take it underneath my couch or underneath my bed. So sometimes I always have to check under there to make sure that they don't have something that they're not supposed to. And this is their tunnel, which, as you can tell, it's actually very, very long when it's stretched out. Sometimes I'll put it in their playpen if it's one of the days where I can't let them out, but I'll put them in their playpen. So sometimes I'll put this in there. And then when I let them out, I usually just let it like spread out on the ground and stuff. So for right now, I just have it there because I'm waiting for the things for the playpen to get done. So that's what I have for the ferrets. Another thing that people ask me is if they stink. They actually do not, because when you get ferrets and stuff, they get them descented, or at least from the rescues that I got them, they're descented, they were fixed, and everything. But, for ferrets, most of the time, they don't stink. They don't. And if they do really stink, like, let's say if you go to somebody who has ferrets, and their ferrets actually really do stink, most of the time, it's because the people give ferrets baths with water, and you're actually not supposed to do that. Like, give them dust baths, or, like, take a washcloth and dry through and wash their fur. You never want to put them in water because they have oils on their body, which is what causes the scent to their body. If you put them in water, the water will wash off those oils, and that will just make the oils reproduce a lot more faster and a lot more. So yeah. So that's basically what I have for the ferrets. I am thinking about getting another pet for my closet. Because in here, I don't have a lot, as you can see. I mean, right now, this area right here is not going to be like crowded the way it is. I have all my clothes right here, and in that dresser over there is books and stuff that I have, and I'm gonna get those all moved into here onto the shelf once I get it more organized, because like right here I'll probably put more books right beside their cage that I use, or like maybe right here there's room for books right there, and then I have like the top shelf up here that I can put more books up there. I don't have that many in the dresser, but I'm gonna get all of those clothes and blankets moved to the dresser that's over there, which means that this basket won't be in here, and this kind of laundry basket thing that I have, which is usually what I put my dirty clothes in, but I just have all of my clothes in it for right now until I can get everything moved. I'll put it out in the corner of my room somewhere near the door, which I don't know what kind of pet I really want to get next if I do get another pet. Frankly, if I did get another one, it would probably be one that I can keep in the cage. So, like, maybe a gerbil or something. Because I do still have pine bedding and stuff. The only thing that I need to get is food and a cage, and then the animal itself. I want to find a good place for gerbils and stuff, but I don't know where I can get it. A good place for a gerbil and stuff. I can go to my local PetSmart in Lafayette, but however, like, I've gotten a lot of bad rep from that shop of where you get them. I mean, I got a hamster there from them before, and he actually survived longer than the lifespan. That usually they live up to like maybe 5 years, but the hamster that I had ended up living a whole lot more longer than that. He died, unfortunately, though, like maybe 5 years ago due to a brain tumor on his head. So eventually he did pass away. But once I get this whole area cleaned out and move, and those suitcases will always be there. And that beach ball is kind of for the ferrets whenever they want to play with it. But that's only once I know that their claws have been freshly clipped, so they can't actually pop it or rip any holes in it. And as you can see over here, if I get it into the light, this is the litter I use for them. Yeah, litter for cats, but you can use this for them. It's actually recommended that you use this kind of litter. It's natural paper pellets. They kind of, from the rescue that I got from them, they said that this works, but they don't really recommend it, but I recommend it, because it's actually really easy to get it scooped out. They don't use the entire litter box, they only use the corners. So usually when I clean them out, I never had to put that much in it. I had that bag for 2 months now, and I still have enough in it to last me for even more weeks. So essentially, like, it's $5 to $6, but it lasts for a very, very long time. Not like regular cat litter if you have it for cats and stuff. Cats usually use up the entire litter box, so that's why litter for cats goes out a lot more faster than it does for ferrets and stuff. This is one of the brands of food that I get them. I get them 2 different brands of food. This is the Marshall brand that I have, and they will not eat it alone. I tried to see if they will eat this food alone, but they actually do not. So let me see if I can get it. So this is what it kind of looks like. It's just kind of regular little stick pellets that are brown, and it's kibble. But most of the time, I have to mix it with the other brand that I have for them to eat it, which isn't too much of a problem. The rescue that I got, once again, they didn't like the fact that I chose that food, but the 2 ferrets that I have, they seem to really like it, and I don't see a problem with it at all. It has enough proteins in it, and it has the protein during that both ferrets and cats need. So basically, you know, it works out for me. I don't see why the rescue didn't like it, but I'm going to keep on getting that kind of brand of food. And I have to get that brand of food offline as well, because my local Walmart only has 1 brand of food, which is the brand of food that I have right here. This is a new bag that I got recently, and yeah, this is only what the Walmart that I have offers. Welcome to Frankfurt. We don't have that much stuff, but at least we got some kind of things you need. But, the Wild Harvest for the ferret food, they actually like this food a lot more better than the Marshall foods that I have. The rescue that I got them from, they said that this is the worst kind of ferret food that you can give them. But once again, it has the protein that they need. And if I mix it with the Marshall's brand food, they actually do eat it, and they get just enough that they need. So I don't see why they have a problem with that. And right here, I have this drawer right here, which is where I kind of store their food. I have to get more Marshall brand food in here and mix it up, because, like, as you can see, like, right there, I do have Marshall brands mixed up in here, but I'm gonna have to mix more in here to make it more evened out. I don't ever refill it until this entire thing is empty, because I want to make sure that they eat all the old food before I give them new food. And then right here, I have their supply drawer. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little dizzy. So this is pickle juice, which is something that I put like a few drops on their belly whenever I'm clipping their claws, and I'll just constantly look at it. Have Q-tips in there from when I clean their ears, which I can do another video about if it's possible for me to do all of that while I'm doing it. I have these two toys that they can play with, just something that I can just twirl around and they'll chase after it, especially the one with the bell on it, which is this yellow one right here. And this red one I'm considering on giving to the cats, because the cats keep on tearing up the ones that I keep on giving them. And I haven't been able to get a new one recently. This is the harness that I have Dodger use, which is I have Evie use this one because she can't slip out of it very easily because it has the buckle on it and then it has the two straps. She can slip out of the other one, which she has before, which actually really scared me because I was out on my front porch and I only had them one at a time, so that way it's easier for me, but it really scared me when she was able to slip out of it. But luckily she only slipped out of it was the other one, which is right here. She only was able to slip out of the back one right here, but she wasn't able to slip from the front one, which is why I was able to catch her in time before she could, like, run off or do something. So this is the one that I have Dodger use now instead, and he doesn't slip out of this at all. He never slipped out of this one either before, but I just have Evie use this one because it's more reinforced and it's harder for her to slip out of. This is their old food bowl, which granted, if I do get a gerbil, I'm gonna put this bowl in that cage, because frankly, this is just the first food bowl that I got, but the ferrets kept on, like, tipping it over and stuff like that, so I cut them the one that attaches to their cage, along with the water bowl one. So I do have, like, a food bowl that ever do think about getting a gerbil or something like that. This is for their cage and stuff like that, so for the wire metal, if it ever gets, like, dirty or something, I can spray this on there and use it. They haven't gotten their cage very dirty at all, really. The only time that I ever had to clean their cage and what I had to clean was their bowls, their litter box, and then all of the towels and stuff in there. There was never a time where I had to clean the actual cage itself because they never made a mess in there. But I do have that whenever I need it. So, right here, if I can get it. These are the 3 leashes that go to their harnesses. I have this blue one and this black one. They're both actually cat leashes, but once again, the cats don't like going outside except for Sosa. And if he does go outside, he never leaves the porch. Like, he knows better than to leave the porch. And he only goes outside if one of us is outside. This is the one that goes with one of the harnesses over here. Obviously, because it matches. But the other one didn't have a leash, so I just used the 2 cat leashes that the cats don't use. And so I do have that. Next up is their grooming. So their grooming right here, I have this brush for, it's kind of more of a comforting brush to use, and they're for more shiny and stuff. This one, this bristle brush, it's kind of for whenever they're shedding fur, which they don't do very often at all. At least the ferrets that I had and the ones and how long I've had them, they haven't shed much. But I can always use this when they are shedding, and it's kind of like the pricky point kind of metal brush. This is for when I'm clipping their claws. As you can see, I put their claw in the top area, and then I close that clips off their claw. Clipping their claws are actually really easy because all of their claws are white. They're not dark colored, so it's easy to see where the blood vessel is and what is to. So I always know when that is. I have this squeaker here, which, like, I think how it squeaks. This is what I use whenever they're outside of their cage in the playpen, and it's time for them to go back in. I'll squeak the squeaker. Evie will come towards me. Dodger doesn't respond to the squeaker, so I'll grab Evie, and I'll go near where he is, and he'll come up to Evie, and that way I can get him. So that's usually what I have for them. So I'm going to put this back in here. And that kind of covers everything that I have for the ferrets. And taking care of them is actually really easy. It's not that hard. You just have to take at least 2 hours out of your day. Just 2. Which isn't too much time if you actually really think about how much time you have in a day. So, once again, if I suggest getting a gerbil for myself, I have this thing, which I did have for the ferrets at first, but, you know, that's when I started learning about them. I learned, oh gosh, I got a lot of stuff that I actually didn't need for them. So if I do get a gerbil, I will be completely prepared. I just need a cage. Yeah. So that's everything that I have for the ferrets. So we can move on to the next animals. So, right here, just outside of my room, as we have Sosa right there. Sosa is a Norwegian forest cat, and I'm considering about getting him checked to see if he's a purebred, because he looks like he can be a purebred. Obviously, we have their food right here. We give them 2 food bowls, and basically, if we ever see them empty, we just fill it back up again. And usually, I only have to do that once a day or twice, depending on how much they eat. I have the 2 water bowls right here, which they drink pretty slowly. They don't drink that much, but they do drink whenever they want to. So out here, on the back porch area, is actually where we keep our litter boxes. We have 2 litter boxes right here. Honestly, Midnight's using one right now, so it smells really bad right now. But we have 2 litter boxes because we have 3 cats. 1 litter box would not survive enough. And back here, we have the cat food right here. Obviously, it's kind of filled up right now. Midnight trying to get into it as soon as I opened it. Right here, we have the dog food, which I don't take care of the dog. My grandfather is the one who takes care of the dog, so I don't ever have to worry about that. I just have to check to make sure that we have enough food for whenever we go to Walmart and see if we need any other ones. And then we have the cat litter in there. We use the clay kind for the cats. As you can tell. Yeah, that's kind of it for the cats, really. Like I said earlier, I had this pine bedding that I can just use for a gerbil if I ever consider getting one, which I might actually consider. We have the dog treats for the dog pat, but like I said, I don't take care of the dog. My grandfather does, and my grandfather is actually the one who does the litter box, but there is times where I will do the litter box instead if I see it getting really full. So let's see. You seen? Yep, there's Midnight. There he is. You got food in there. He probably just wants attention, but back here we have the 3rd cat. This is Maple Shade. You've probably seen her in other videos on my channel, but she is like the most sweetest little cat that I've ever had. She is so cuddly, and she demands attention all the time. Like, if she knows when I'm outside of my bedroom, she knows when I just wake up in the morning inside my bedroom, and she'll start meowing at my door because she just knows I'm awake. Which is kind of freaky, because I don't know how she knows that I'm awake, because I don't really move much. at all when I'm sleeping or when I'm in bed. But somehow she just always knows whenever I'm awake. Obviously, they have toys around, and the cats just get to run around the house whenever they want to. So that kind of covers all the animals that I have, really. Also, I've almost forgotten one thing. I had this fan right here. So, in Indiana, it can get really hot sometimes on Sundays during the summer, which we had a few hot spells recently. So whenever it gets hot in the air conditioning, which we do have, if the air conditioning isn't enough to keep the room cool or at like a nice warm temperature, I can turn this on, because you don't want it to get too hot with ferrets. Like, I say anything above 80 degrees is usually too hot for them, but since they're always inside, you know, it's never really too much of a problem because of the air conditioner and stuff. I haven't used a fan once. I never had to yet, but that doesn't mean that there won't be a time where I'll have to use the fan to keep them all healthy and stuff. So that's basically the end of the stream. I know it's only like an hour long almost, and it's longer than usually what my streams are if it's something about inside my house or something like that. I haven't been able to do any gaming videos because my brother is the one who has the PS4. I don't have one of my own, but I'm considering about getting one, and I'm saving up my money to get a PS3 and a PS4, so that way I can record whenever I want to, and I just haven't been able to because he works and stuff, and even then, like, he has his own channel and stuff, and he has his own game, so obviously he wants to play more, and I had to ask permission to play on PS4. So, this is the end of the stream. I hope you guys like it. I hope that answers some of the questions that you guys have about the ferrets that I have and how much I take care of them. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Come back and subscribe for more. Like the video down below. Comment also if you have any animals, and if there's any suggestions on where I can get a gerbil or the best place to get a cage for them. And I'll see you ninjas later. Stay sharp and have a nice day.